Hello everyone, this is Snow's reflection, and I would like to talk about something that has held my attention for the past few days. You know, the rate of divorce, separation, and breakup in relationships and marriages has been alarming lately. Now, that's not to say that's even the main crux of it. The problem here is the drama that comes with co-parenting after divorce. Um, I'm led to have this conversation because, as most of you know, I've had my fair share of such situation. Now, there's also a trending story on the media that has to do with a media personality who also has similar situation. And, you know, I had to get involved because it's a matter that appeals to me because I have been there before. Now, I got comments like, oh, you need to figure out who's wrong. The wife is wrong, the husband is wrong, this is this, this is that, this is that. And to me, it didn't sit well. Now, when there's a divorce and there are children involved, even a court of law will tell you that they go for the interest of the children. Now, this leads us to my topic, which is co-parenting after divorce. Now, co-parenting after divorce has to do with a peaceful agreement between two parents to raise children they have brought together into this world against the divorce situation they are both facing. Now, co-parenting has never looked good in Nigeria because in Nigeria, when you divorce, when you leave your husband, everybody expects that the two of you will fight till death. Like hold each other's neck, drag. You know, Nigeria, we like basbos, we like dragging, we like online in-laws to get into our story. We want them to come and help us fight. Yeah, sometimes if it is messy and you know you can't get justice or help on your own, it's okay to call out or cry out because sometimes you see people die from abuse, violence, whatever, and they say nothing. And then same online in-laws will come and say, oh, you didn't cry out. If you had cried out, we would have helped you. Sometimes people will cry out, they will make mockery of you. They'll say, oh yes, family issues, you brought it out, you're washing your dirty linens in public, you're not meant to talk about this, you're not meant to talk about that, oh, you're going too far, you're doing blah, 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 blah. Now, those are the things that come with coming out to speak up and all of that. Now, before someone finds the courage to speak out, that's one thing people should understand. It must have come with so much pain and difficulty. Nobody wants to look weak before the eyes of the public, so people should understand that for someone to put their strength aside and come out to cry to the public, it means they've reached their breaking point and they can't go any further without help from other people to wade into the situation, basically. Now, some people think they are doing you a favor helping you to cry out. No, my darling, we are human beings. And there is something called moral, right? Like moral behaviors. What's right, what's wrong. What is right is that it is also good to support a good cause without expecting anything in return. I can support somebody I see who doesn't have one leg because I know that, oh, this person is going through difficulty, the person is walking with one leg, and I don't expect them to fend for themselves daily and make much as I, who have two legs. I would want to support that person, at least give them some aid, try to help them around, or get somebody to help them, you know, things like that. I don't expect anything in return because that's the right thing to do. Likewise, when you throw your voice in support of people going through something, you're not expecting anything. It's not as if you want them to come back to say thank you and then you want to sit back and judge them tomorrow for any other step they decide to take. That person cried out because at that moment they were helpless. It's appreciated. I love when people come back to say thank you like most of us do or did. But it doesn't mean that online in-laws have to come and judge you after because you cried. I've seen people come to my pages to say, oh yeah, when you were crying, we stood by you, now this, that. No, yes, I cried when I cried. And I have moved on from there. Don't always find it easy to take me back to that place of pain where I have moved on. If it makes you score a point and makes you feel better, that's okay. Be my guest if it rocks your boat. But you know what? When you help people, it's like sowing a seed into the universe and expecting it to come back to you in a better form. That's the spirit people should use in these things. Now, going back to the topic of co-parenting after divorce. It comes with a lot. It is not an easy territory, especially if there were reasons as to why you left this partner. It could be violence, it could be abuse, it could be whatever. But it starts with maybe finding peace from that turbulence. At some point, you talk to yourself, you think, you evaluate your life, you try to figure out what exactly led you to that point, how you got there, and how you intend to move on from there. Now, the basic problem people have is not knowing how to move on from a particular point, because at some point in life we feel like our whole life has been built around one partner, and when it's time, like it's very clear you have to move on, you do not know how to navigate. Now, the first thing to do is to sit down, think, ask yourself, where do I go from here, and how do I go from here? Now, when you ask those questions, you definitely would get answers. For some of us who've had active lives from before, you remember who you were and how you navigated that space of who you were before marriage. Now, if you have that answer, it teaches you or tells you what direction. If not, you tell yourself where you want to be in the next few years and you start working towards that. That's how to figure out on healing and moving on from that particular space where you found yourself and finding peace in that turbulence. Now, next thing is when you've healed enough and you can now sit and have a conversation with that partner whom you separated from or divorced from. You both have to come together to agree on what the priority is. Now, for me, the priority in this whole situation is the children. Your children are the basic priority. So whatever binds my relationship with you is definitely going to be those children between us. Now, that becomes our priority. And what we have to do together and agree together has to be everything to do with these children, like the schools they should go to, proximity to my place or your place, how they are cared for, pick up, drop off, who does what, who cares for what. In some cases where the parents might decide to share 50-50 responsibility, you can agree on, oh, what time of the year do we pay in this money? How do we do it? It depends on what the couple agree on. I'm not saying everybody has to do 50-50, but I'm just saying, whatever agreements you sit to discuss, you both reach a compromise, you both agree. It's never going to be easy because at some point one person wants to do one thing over the other one. One person wants to show that, oh, I love my children more than you do, and you're not that important. The other one might want to feel like, oh yeah, what do? You don't even have time, so you should sit by the corner, let me do the most of it. And the other one, like, I'm a busy person, I don't have the time, you should do. No, you both have to reach a compromise. School programs, both parents have to attend. I've had situations where I attend an event with the father of my kids, and I've had people come online to say, oh yeah, they are back together because they were seen together, they took pictures. Of course, you will do all of that for memory's sake, because your children would not appear to be broken children if they don't have if they have daddy and mommy filling in where they should fill in. School programs, you have to come together. Programs where the children need to appear to be complete and they need to feel whole, feel daddy's love, mommy's vibe, everything. You do it together. Co-parenting is actually beautiful. But Nigerians have turned it into something else. You just come and make it look like, I've had comments like, oh, these two, they've gone back to shagging themselves. Excuse my French. Excuse me? For the sake of beautiful children. If you don't know what it is to raise children, you will never understand what it is to put grudges behind, put pain behind, and come together to make children happy. Now, after reaching a compromise, there comes this part where most people don't like to accept: boundaries and restrictions. there would be boundaries, because before the both of you would agree to part ways and leave each other and not be together and all of that, there must have been underlying issues which calls for boundaries. So I would set my boundaries and I expect you to respect them. Likewise, you set your boundaries and you expect me to respect them. And then if it comes to situations where one partner already has another partner and the other has another partner and there is no room for reconciliation and you've both agreed to go different ways, then there'll be boundaries on each other's partner. You don't have a dad who's no longer my husband asking me about my boyfriend, and I wouldn't be asking him about his girlfriend. And as much as you are co-parenting, you have to keep it drama-free when one party visits the other party and there's a partner or not. Yeah, so things like this, there are different boundaries. There are boundaries of like some wouldn't want the other partner's husband or wife picking up kids, dropping them, or playing the father role or mother role to the children. Now, those are boundaries. There are lots of boundaries that come with these things, and it's a sacrifice. And I think the other significant other should understand that it's a process. When it comes to children, they are quite delicate and sensitive, and these rules are put in place for their protection and for their growth and upliftment in situations like this. And basically, everything co-parenting has to be all for the kids. Yes, I know you might feel like it is a selfish situation. Yeah, it is selfish for the kids, not yourself. Selfish in the sense that everything revolves around the children. I know you would feel like, yeah, it's actually a hard life. It is a hard life, but the truth is, it's actually easier for couples who separate without kids than it is for couples who have children. And once you have children, everything you do centers around your kids. Yeah, I'm not saying get lost. I'm not saying forget yourself. You can find yourself after some time. You can choose to meet someone else and start life afresh, but you still bear in mind that you brought in some children who never asked you to bring them into this world, but you brought them forth in the name of love with your first partner. So please do what is needful for the children. Okay, so it's been us talking about co-parenting after divorce, and I touched on healing and moving on after divorce. I talked about finding peace in turbulence. I talked about agreeing on a priority, which is the children. I talked about reaching a compromise, and I talked about boundaries and restrictions. And these are the things that come up in a peaceful co-parenting situation. I hope you learned something from this conversation and it makes some sense to you. It was nice talking to you, and have a lovely day.